What do you do when you feel like you are leveling up in your life? You are healing and raising your own frequency, and it feels like those in your world are not coming with you. So get ready with me as I record this episode with you. I'm actually getting ready for my date, and I was like, okay, this is coming in hot. This is landing big. Let's go ahead and record this episode. Okay. So, have you ever had a situation happen where you're doing all of this healing work and maybe it feels like your significant other, your friends, your partner, your family members, it just feels like they're not coming with you. It just feels like they're staying where they are. Or, and I know you'll resonate with this one too, as a healer or as an empath, you can feel what they're feeling, right? As a healer and someone who has gone through your own healing journey, or you are trained or just intuitively know various different things, you know where some of their pain is coming from. Okay, so I want to say a couple weeks ago, inside of our Telegram community in Quantum Illumination Reiki certification program, we're in level 1. And we have a community space, a place for Q&A, and a place for like wins, all that fun stuff. So a lot of the healers in there will just like connect with each other, share different things. And there was a conversation around how someone in their life that they love deeply or they deeply care about just felt like they weren't coming along for the ride with them. It just felt like they were falling apart, I guess, for lack of better words at the moment. And I didn't know the full scope of the situation. I just listened to the voice note and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and reply to this. And for whatever reason, I felt really called to talk about my husband and I. And I will actually share with you a couple examples of my husband and I. And I know he won't mind me sharing this as well. Okay, so I had just intuitively started sharing specifically about my husband and I, not like friends or family or anything like that, because it's just intuitively what came through. And when she replied, she was like, ironically, yes, this is actually about my husband and I. And I'm like, okay, I wondered, like, after I sent that message inside of our community, I had wondered why specifically it was coming through about my husband and I and why I didn't share anything else. And now that all makes sense, right? And so just, over here, trusting my intuitive abilities, trusting my psychic abilities, trust yours too, and let the proof stack as to how you actually, like, whatever's coming through is exactly what someone needs to hear. Okay. So here's the thing. And in your healing journey, sometimes it's going to happen, and I know you already know this, that people are going to fall away. That as your frequency raises, those around you will either come with you or they will not. And you just love them where they are. This, I think, is one of the hardest parts about our healing journeys, truly, because I feel like you so deeply care about those, like in general, but those in your life that you just want to help people heal. You just want to make the world a better place. You just know what it feels like to feel good and to feel clear, free, like healed from some of the shit that you've been through. And you want that for them too. And I love that about you. And also, it's none of your business. And this was like, let's just sit with that for a second. Lovingly, it's none of your business. Even if it's someone you deeply love, of course you're going to be there. Love them where they are. No trying to change them, no trying to force something on them, but love them where they are. This was something I learned very early on in my spiritual journey. And I just, like, my husband and I would butt heads because I'm meditating, I'm journaling, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm hiring coaches and healers and doing all the things and bettering myself. And it looked like to me that he was not doing shit. And that's just not true. Like, I don't think this is true about all men, right? But I do feel that men, and just as an overall generality, like they just process information different than we do as women. And and also, everybody processes information different, and it doesn't make it right or wrong, right? So for me, it looked like all those things that we do as healers, the rituals, the cord cutting, the chatting with our spirit team, the automatic writing, the pulling cards, like all of it, right? All of it. And for him, it looked like going to the gym. It looked like talking to someone like supervision, or he's in the military, so they have a chaplain that they can go talk to anytime. And though he doesn't subscribe to like any particular religion, like that's a safe space that he can go talk to someone in a neutral position. So that's what he did. An occasion when he needed that extra support. However, there were definitely times when I was doing my own thing, well, I'm like feeling really good, and I'm like just not available for certain BS anymore, and boundaries, and gone of the people pleasing, that one comes in layers. If you know, you know. I don't know about you, but that one is definitely one that I am shown time and time again, and being encouraged, not forced, but encouraged by my spirit team to continue to lock in. But for for him, it was him doing the same things over and over. Now here's what I want you to know. It's okay if they continue to do what it is that they are doing. And here's what I know to be true. The impact of those immediately around you is going to be made because you decided to heal, because you decided to grow, because you decided that something had to give or something needed to change, and you decided that it was no longer going to be any other way. And so I want to remind you of your own power. I have seen this time and time again, like with my clients. Also, within my own life, it's absolutely cray cray. Like there have been different healings that I have done for myself that generationally healed. And it would show up through, my parents or in other ways, in ways I couldn't even put into words. It's wild. Like my own spiritual awakening tripped the spiritual awakening of other people in our family. It opened up curiosity from other people in our family, which I think is so amazing. And you have that power. And whether it's a spiritual awakening or just simply an awareness and a decision of like, okay, well, it's time to do some healing on this stuff. It's time to get curious about these things. It's time to step into awareness of something that's no longer serving them. Or maybe they're just freaking happier because you are doing the work. Because you are doing the work. And I don't want to put that on your shoulders like you should be doing, like, quote, should, like, whatever that means, right? But, like, it's not your responsibility to do the work so that other people will heal. It's your responsibility to do the work for you because it feels in alignment for you. Because you're stepping into awareness for you, because you can feel that soul nudge, that soul urge that you're like, I'm here to do these certain things and I'm going to heal my own shit while I'm changing the world, while I'm making a difference in the world, right? And you can, like, sometimes we just intuitively know that we are the karmic breakers of our generation. I know my mom is that for sure. And I know that's been one of mine as well. And it's like each generation, we like continue to break different patterns, different cycles, and we release. And what a gift to be able to give to the generations that come after us, right? Our own lineage. And so continue to work on you. They will rise to meet you or they will fall away. Now, when it comes to spouses, you probably already know this, but I just want to say this again because I think this is worth noting and just being reminded. It's that their interests don't have to be your interests for every single thing. My husband likes to game. It's something he does in his spare time. He connects with the kids in that capacity. And I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm not going to do that. And it's an outlet for him in some capacity. I hadn't seen it that way until I did. I will never forget the first time that he was like, why do you have crystals in your bra? And I was like, oh, well, this is coming out of the closet. And then that door was open. He's like, I don't get it, but okay. And it was interesting because at first I tried to like get him to do some of the things that I was doing. And then I was like, okay, I'm actually pushing him away and that's not what I want, but I'm going to keep doing my own thing. And even still to this day, like he doesn't understand like fully Reiki. He's not tuned into the spiritual realm like I am or his gifts and abilities like I am, though big time. He is an empath and he has some other abilities that I'll point out every now and then that I think is really fun. However, I let him be where he is, and I let me be where I am. And we come together because we love each other. And so I stopped trying to force what it is that I love, that I know helps me on him. And I did my own work and let my own transformation just show him. And it wasn't because I was trying to prove something to him. It was because I was living my life with what I felt was good for me in my own healing journey. Now, Matt and I have been to marriage counseling twice. The first time we did learn a lot and it didn't stick, and we were not in a good place, period, dot, the end. And the second time we were on the brink of, and that was for many years, like we just weren't in a good place. Like, of course we love each other, but there was just a lot going on, right? And then the second time that we did marriage counseling, it was one of those things that was like, this is the last straw. And this was actually, he was making a decision on whether or not we were going to actually divorce. I was already making plans to move in with my best friend and move to the state over at the time where we were living. And I was like, okay, if this is what it's going to be, it's not what I want. I think we should try marriage counseling again. And then he came home the next day and he was like, okay, it would be crazy for us to throw everything away without giving this one more shot. And so let's do it. So we did, I don't know, like 5 months of therapy or something like this. It was right during 2020, at the beginning of 2020. And for a few months after, like we were good, but for a few months after, like things kind of picked up again. And I was like, God. And I want to say summer of 2020, like August or something. I remember something very specific happened and I just drew the line in the sand and I was like, no, this is not what we desire or what we want from our marriage. And so let's decide what it is. And it's either that or nothing. And it's not that we don't have bad days, right? It's not that, we don't have something come up that we need to talk about or, whatever. But like, it was a decision and a line in the sand. And when it comes to like he and I in our own healing journeys, again, he does it differently. For him, it's the gym. For him, it was the chaplain. For him, it was like his first sergeant or supervision, talking to someone that can support him and process or what it is that he's dealing with while I do my own healing work. He's excited for me. He cheers me on. And that gets to be enough. So there have definitely been seasons where I'm doing my own work and he is noticing. He'll just say something. Or I'll notice something in him has shifted as well because something in me has shifted. And that is so powerful. And so, can you be okay with where your significant other is in their own journey while you go through what is in alignment for your soul and not force it on them? You could suggest it to them if that feels good. But if they really don't want it, then what's the point of forcing them to try to do something that they really don't want to do, and let them come around if it feels good for them. Let them be in your own energy, not because you're forcing it or not because you're proving something, but because that's who you are. And that is felt, right? That's felt. That's like science. So when it feels like people are falling away, can you love them where they are? Can you deeply love them where they are? And thank them for whatever role they played in their lives. And hold that space for them for whatever it is that they need. And for your loved one, like your significant other, your partner, your husband, your wife, Can you hold that space for yourself? See the best in them, give them space to heal in the way that it is that they need to heal. Now, I'm not talking about like fighting or, anything extreme. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, you know, hold boundaries for sure, but love them where they are. You do you, boo, and continue on your own path and let the transformation speak for itself. And I'm going to say this again. This is like the third or fourth time I've said this because I feel like somebody needs to hear this. Not because you're trying to prove to someone, not because you're trying to get them to do what you're doing, but because it is who you are, because you can feel this is what's aligned for you. So I hope that this helped. I hope that this gave you like some sort of like spark or hope or inspiration to be able to continue your own path regardless of what happens around you. And I'm not saying that it's easy when people fall away. I 100% know that it is. I know that it is. I have walked away from people that were no longer in alignment with where I am. And it's hard. And also, it's necessary. It means nothing except for you love them where you are and you're holding yourself to a specific standard. And it's okay. It's okay. So, sending you so much love because I know this conversation is not an easy one. And I know that when you start noticing this, it is tough. But know that I'm holding the space for you. Anchor in, draw the boundaries, decide what it is that you want, and do not lower your frequency for anyone or anything.